Time for a tear about in the shipmobile. Oh, look at this wonderful crowd that have turned up to cheer us on, ladies and gentlemen. Always a popular event, the Innsmouth 500.
Hold on, Jack.
To what? Whoa!
Get ready, Jack.
Alright, so if you chose to play the game properly and not murder anything in the last level, your introduction to the shooting mechanics is not so much a baptism of fire as it is clawing your way out the womb while your mother tries to give birth to you on the fucking sun. You got two real approaches to this. The first is to try and shoot the McPhillips gang before they shoot you. Good luck with the sanity effects, throwing all kinds of wacky motherfucking filters in your way to distract you on that one. The second approach is to scrabble about in the back of the truck like a panicked cat, using the paneling of the bed for cover as best you can. Now, you probably still have to kill a handful of them because that stupid little shit pickle Brian's idea of getaway driving is to just fucking stop every now and again to fiddle around with his nutsack, but this way is much more friendly to your ammunition reserves, and you're probably going to need a right bloody ton of it in the levels to come. Unless you're incredibly lucky or some sort of fucking Zen master that can ignore Jack's drunk-tastic slosho vision and pick these bastards off faster than they show up on screen. You're going to get hit a few times here, and the random nature of where you wind up getting hit plays a huge factor in how difficult the section's going to be for you. Like, it's no big deal if they pop you in the leg, but sometimes you wind up getting two barrels of shotgunny goodness right in the face. Then you got to crouch there trying to stitch your nose back on while the Innsmouth Massif carry on blasting you into pudding. The situation chills considerably once you're out of the town here.
Jack, we better check this out. Gotta get through that tunnel.
Just force yourself.
It's too dangerous, Jack. Canisters on that truck's explosive.
Well, I say chill. You have to blow up the fucking truck. Truck off! There we go. Now it's chill. Fair warning, any of the fishmen you decide not to kill on this dirt road will come charging into the next area after you, but that's preferable for me, quite honestly. For some odd reason, I find it much easier to shoot things when I have my feet on solid ground, and I'm not being chauffeured around in a motorized banana crate by a dimwit. Fuck! Here we are. Now we just take the corner. We've got a nice little window to heal up right here. So, oh, we didn't actually do too badly though. Only a couple of advanced medikit items needed. I've come out of that looking like a Cenobite's tampon before. Ghastly!
Get out, Jack. The old fishing cannery is just around the corner. Hurry up.
But it's swarming with the order.
Just find Ruth. I'll meet you at the other side.
So, yes, now we have to go and rescue Brian's idiot girlfriend Ruth from the tinnery. And once the game gives you your legs back. There we go. And of course, Brian does absolutely nothing to help. He just sits in his fucking truck in the alley right here. Doesn't even try to run any of them over for you. Just sits there, poking around in the glove box, slowly making his way through a pack of fruit pastels, thumbing through the insurance documents that came with the truck, while I fight for my goddamn life mere feet behind him. Your advantage here is that the fishmen seem incredibly reluctant to actually fire into this little alley, much preferring to run around nervously in front of it, which plays merry fucking havoc for trying to shoot them, but saves you a hospital's worth of medical supplies. There's a couple more around the corner here that need putting down before we go to the tinnery itself. There's one. A fish climbing a fence? What? An idiot that forgot to reload? You can't just reload whenever you want in dark corners of the earth. Well, alright, you can, but it's not like your standard FPS where you can fire one bullet, throw the entire clip away, and still magically keep all the rounds you just chucked into the fuck knows where bush. It's up to you to keep count of how many bullets you've fired and reload at the appropriate time, because when you hit that reload key, anything left in the chamber or clip or whatever is gone, gone, gone. I'm absolutely pitiful at doing this, and the amount of times I will undoubtedly attempt to fire an empty weapon at an oncoming horde of fish bastards will convince you that I am legally retarded and should be in some sort of sheltered environment where my usage of things like scissors, kettles and finger paint should be monitored around the clock, but hey, at least I'm no smarter than I look. I'd hate to get anybody's hopes up. So now we've got the power to fill practically anything that gets on our nerves with a bucket full of lead. The game is never really quite the same from this point out. In fact, it really can't give you the guns fast enough. You wind up with pretty much the entire standard arsenal by the time you've left this area. The one gun you can't get here, you get right at the beginning of the next stage, so... Well, apart from the doomsday weapon you get at the end of the game. Oh shit, I wasn't supposed to ruin that yet. Forget! Fraggers command you! Amnesium fuckacafarium! There. Harry Fuckface Potter isn't the only magical genius of this generation, I'll have you know. In fact, he's not a genius at all, is he? I hear his friends do all the hard work, and his head teacher Dumpledraws, and that fat, bearded man that lives in the school shed and fucks goat fairies. I've admittedly never seen a Harry Potter film or read a book, so if I got any of that wrong, you know, don't correct me. I honestly couldn't care less. Your artillery is mine, you flake-gobbling puddle-knobbers! Assaulting artillery. This is like the quaintest base invasion ever. From here to the teapot factory, boys. And then the final bloody showdown at their impregnable stronghold, the Thimble Emporium. HP Thumbcrafts. Don't shoot till you see the curds in their cream tea. There's a Tommy gun. I hate that piece of shit. The recoil on it is true to life, and therefore much like trying to fire bullets out of a road drill. Fuck, well, I'm already out of bullets for the pistol. But despair ye not! The crowbar isn't just your key to a better life in the Innsmouth sewers. It's also dead handy for cracking hybrid fox across the face with. We'll have ourselves a knife in a couple of stages time too. Well, instead of the crowbar, I should say. This game is awfully fond of knocking you out and taking all your weapons away from you. It gets pretty extreme. Like, they need an excuse to de-arm you after this level, so they put you back in the fucking asylum. I mean, you see for yourselves, obviously, but there's no reason why the scene that takes place there couldn't be set anywhere else. The developers just do it to you out of spite. Then, on the following stage, you get knocked out from behind, and the guy who knocks you out, he doesn't take your weapons. You're not even unconscious, really. You're just kind of hazy, lying on the ground. And then when you get up, everything's just gone. Ooh, were they ever really there? You ever been knocked out? I've blacked out twice. Once when I fell out a tree directly onto my face, and the second time after too much drink and pot at a metal festival.
Jack, I'm up here.
There she is.
Ruth, what the hell are you doing up there?
I must have been followed. They stormed inside just moments ago. There was gunfire outside. I only just managed to climb up here and threw the ladder down to escape. I'm trapped up here, Jack. The door's padlocked, and this ledge isn't gonna hold for much longer. I don't want to die, Jack. Help me!
Keep back. I'll figure something out.
I can hear something.
Find him. He's around here somewhere. Search everywhere. Search the area. Search everywhere.
Alright. So, there is absolutely no point in fighting these mooks whatsoever. Just flee back the way you came to get up to Ruth. There'll be a door unlocked near the save point we just visited. Even if you kill every last fishman in the room, they'll have all respawned by the time you get up top to cross over the beams, so you're just wasting supplies on them. And even though your guns get taken away fairly regularly, you do keep all your ammo. Plus, this is on a time limit. Ruth's not just pissing and moaning and giving it the whole damsel in distress show and dance because she's a stereotype in a detective thriller. If you take too long, the floor collapses, Ruth dies, and, well, nothing actually. Oh, no, you get a little chip off your completion percentage at the end of the game. That's it. That's the sum total of her life.
Swell. I hate heights.
Just swell. I'm going completely fucking insane from my abject terror at being more than 5 feet off the ground. What an inconvenience. Rescuing Ruth is supposed to be quite tricky on the timer, but that's only really if you stick around downstairs for that deeply unnecessary showdown. Cool your shit, bitch. Jack's here. Oh, Ruth. Straight to business.
Brian's meeting us out back.
I'll never be able to make it across the rafters. You'll have to get that door open.
The floor's not quite as fragile as Ruth would have us believe if it can effortlessly take the weight of a full-grown man along with
Let's
her.
get the hell out of here.
What's she doing up here? Jumping up and down, smashing it with a hammer. Jack, it's gonna collapse! Jack! Just mercilessly stuffing her face with cake. Jack! I'm getting heavier! The floor can't take the strain, Jack! Don't worry, she'll catch up.
Come on, Ruth. Hurry the hell up.
Wait for me.
You'll see how entirely pointless all that was in just a second.
There's a bridge out of town not far from here. Just hold on.
Yeah, there you go. They're both dead now. That was all bloody worth it, wasn't it? Here's the no reason asylum scene.
Did I ask for your damn opinion? Remember who funds this damn nut house.
Very well. He's awake.
Ah, Mr. Walters. Our friends in the Boston PD hold you up as quite the hero. Before you went all screwy, that is. I don't like heroes, Mr. Walters.
And I don't care for your opinions, whoever the hell you are.
J. Edgar Hoover, from the Bureau. And considering your position, Mr. Walters, you best mind your manners. Now, what was your business in Innsmouth?
Just stopping in on some broad. I was feeling down on my luck. Needed the company.
Ah, bullshit. There are only two types of folks that visit Innsmouth, criminals and fools. And you don't seem like a fool.
Appearances can be deceptive.
I see. Dr. Hardstrom, if you'd be so kind. Wake him up.
Just charge me with something, 'cause I don't know nothing.
This is not gonna stop, Mr. Walters, so you may as well level with me.
I already told you. It was nothing. A missing person case, and I needed the dough.
Why do you keep following me when you won't?
I was only checked in for one night, and I had to blow the joint in the early hours. Seems the locals didn't take kindly to my snooping.
For Christ's sake, Walters! Is it normal in your line of work to break a punk out of the can, then breeze out of town in a stolen car?
Only on the good days. But not normally, no. I've had a shitty night, Hoover, so I'd really appreciate you cutting me some slack. What's the Bureau's beef with Innsmouth, anyway?
Widespread criminal activity, Mr. Walters, and half the damn town's involved. Our government's never had to handle something on this scale before, but they won't sanction a full-scale operation without more evidence.
Well, I appreciate the bedtime story. I don't see where I come into this.
Thanks to your meddling, Mackey's gone missing, and he was close to something. Something we could use.
Missing? What do you mean, missing?
He was supposed to check in hours ago. Our plans have now changed. You'll be accompanying us back into Innsmouth, Mr. Walters, on a small-scale raid. Our target, the Marsh refinery.
I'm not your lapdog, Hoover. I don't work for the Bureau.
I'm not in the business of making requests, Mr. Walters. Or have you forgotten your past so quickly? A signature here, a signature there, and we can make you a permanent fixture of this delightful establishment. I could even arrange for you to have your old room back.
Fuck you.
Good night, Mr. Walters. Pleasant dreams.
The Feds, February 8th, 1922, night. During my interrogation, it became apparent that the FBI has been watching Innsmouth for some time. Mackey was the Bureau's inside man. Now he's missing as well. Hoover and his boys are going to mount a raid on the Marsh refinery, and I'm invited whether I want to go or not, as if I haven't been through enough in the last 24 hours. I tried to tell Hoover what's waiting for them in that refinery, what's lurking beneath the surface of the town, but he didn't believe me. Can't say I'm surprised. I wouldn't believe me either if I hadn't seen it for myself, and Hoover hasn't seen what I've seen. From the questions Hoover asked me, the Bureau knows next to nothing about Innsmouth or the refinery, even though the FBI has been watching Innsmouth for some time. That's not surprising, since it cut itself off from the outside world more than 50 years ago, and no one outside of Innsmouth's been inside the refinery since then. I guess Mackey didn't tell him much, or he didn't believe Mackey any more than he believed me. Hoover thinks the old gold refinery is the main source of wealth for the Marsh family and is a base of some kind of criminal gang. He figures that a lot more gold comes out of the mill than is possible from the amounts of raw ore they buy, and he wants to know why. I guess I thought things were pretty simple too when I first came to Innsmouth. Now I envy him his ignorance. I must have been a sight when they found me. They certainly loaded me up with sedatives. They've almost worn off now, but I'm feeling drained. I wish I could blame the drugs for the dreams I had while I was out, but they were just like the dreams from the other night at the Gilman Hotel. The dreams keep on getting clearer, more like memories. I'm getting fleeting images of other things too. They just seem to pop up from somewhere in my mind for no apparent reason. I have no idea what they mean, except that I need to keep a grip on myself. I don't want a return trip to the Arkham Asylum. The raid is set for tomorrow. I'd give anything to avoid going back to that town. The feds handed me back Ruth's brooch, which they found in the wreckage of the car crash. Another painful memory. Well, you see what I'm talking about there, don't you? I might be missing a vital plot point here, as I am prone to doing, you know. I thought the deal was like, God either gives you looks or brains, but all I got was bowel disease and a highly elevated ability to take a kicking, so, you know, can't even be a boxer, because I think they dock you points for shitting blood all over your opponent, but I digress. Is there any reason they needed to take Jack back to the nut house and fucking torture him?
Trusted, even allowing for your stint in the nut house. I've packed you with armaments. I demand your complete cooperation. Our reconnaissance reports have confirmed Sebastian Marsh, the manager of the refinery, will be out of town on business. He's left his son Jacob in charge of operations. We won't get a better chance to launch this raid. Our mission is to capture Jacob Marsh. He may be our only chance to get under the skin of the Marsh family. We must secure him alive. Even with Sebastian away, we expect the refinery to be heavily guarded. I'll fill you in with more details when we have breached the main doors. Jack, you better stay in the car while my agents secure the entrance.
By packed you with armaments, he means it's giving you your pistol back. Fucking Mother J. Edgar Teresa in the house, everybody.
Get in your positions, agents. Keep sight of the loading bay. On the roof, sustain your fire. Get those damn doors open!
No, wait!
Take cover!
Gotta wait for Hoover to tell us we can move. We're working to order today.
Get clear of the car, Jack! Now!
There we go. What now, boss? Should I stand here and soak up his bullets from my face? No, we definitely shouldn't. The car will explode if you take too long about it, so clear there.
You're gonna get cut to pieces! The gunner is too holed in. None of us can make a clean shot.
For God's sake, Hoover, get your men out of there. They're sitting ducks.
Nonsense! We'll lay down some covering fire, you get your ass up there, and show us what you can do.
What?
You heard me. Now go! When you cut to pieces, you can stand up and go forward.
It's all good, boys. I'm about to show you something you can't learn in FBI school. Cowardice! I'll see you on the other side, motherfuckers. Ah, I kid. We're gonna flank Fishy McFinn right through a side door here. Although, I guess that is kind of cowardly. Oh well. Evening, dipshit. Oh fuck. Die!
He's down. The area is clear.
Oh, how easy it would be, Hoover. Your days of ordering me around. That I could set the sun on them with but a few seconds of turret fire.
Well done, Jack. Wait by me while my men secure the area. Check
But
reception.
no, I will allow you to dangle on the thread of my arse hair just a moment longer.
It's locked, sir. Break it down, then secure the area. I want Marsh alive. Everything else is a viable target. Fallout.
Understood, sir.
Okay, Hoover. What's the plan?
I want to know where the hell they're getting all this gold. Come on, let's take a look around.
How many games can you say you've played where you get to fight alongside J. Edgar Hoover? Not a single one, I'll wager. Unless you somehow made him in Conan Exiles. Okay, which one of you jagaloons crucified me? The Bureau will hear of this! Hey, why's my Jiminy 17 feet long? Hoover's legendary fetish for dressing in women's clothes is unfortunately not on display
Came
here.
from somewhere below.
Just as well, really. You can imagine if anything was going to send Jack over the edge, it'd be that. What are you staring at, Jack? Boom! Jack puts a revolver to his head. Fuck this. Instant game over. No, look, it's Agent Melty Face.
Agent? Did you find Marsh? What are you staring at, Jack? He was just a field agent. He knew the risks. The power's been cut from the elevator. It must have been shut down from the mains. You try the next floor down. See if you can find the generator. I'll secure this floor.
What are you staring at, Jack? You never seen a grown man in a knee-length summer frock before? I mean, I'm working under the assumption that this guy is J. Edgar Hoover, not some kind of fraud, because the FBI wasn't formed until the mid-30s and Dark Corners of the Earth is set in 1922, so... Who are these people? Am I being Ocean's 11'd here? Is this some kind of elaborate goddamn scam? Bunch of handsome potato farmers pulling off a heist on the old Marsh place? Which one of you motherfuckers is Frank Sinatra? Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Come on, Frank, sing along. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. You know the words. You fucking wrote it. Well, Bart Howard did. And it's 1922, so you'd be about what age now, Frank? 8? My god, you got some balls on you, kid. Frank fucking Sinatra. How different your music would be if this was canon, and the defining memory of your childhood wasn't your love of the big band jazz of the era, but instead the time you were mercilessly pursued by a Shoggoth, the dread-shapeless labor protoplasmoid harrowed into being to make real the subterranean cities beneath the plateau of Leng, its infinite highs unraveling in an instant the fraying bobbing of sanity that dangles within the fragile chamber of the mind of all men. Love and marriage, love and marriage. I beheld the old ones, now my brain is damaged. I fled screaming through the wastes of Leng, having learned the dread fate that awaits all men. Let's stitch ourselves back together before we go on here. No sense in leaving good healing supplies behind after all, especially in a game where one stray pistol bullet can leave you looking like RoboCop just before they were forced to robo-fight him. Still haven't told you what the morphine does actually, have I? The blessed morphine, and why you should never ever fucking use it. So, in the inventory screen right up the top, you got the morphine, and if you've ever had a good armful of the stuff in real life, you'll know it does two things really well. It makes you want a fuckload more of it when it starts to wear off, and kills off pain like nobody's goddamn business. Well, you can go ahead and times those effects by the average defense stat of a concrete donkey in this game, because the morphine basically gets rid of any debilitating effects you're suffering as a result of your injuries, but only on a very brief basis. Certainly doesn't heal you, so the only time you're ever gonna really need it is when you've like broken Jack's legs and arms, he can't fucking walk or aim his gun, he's leaking Jack juice all over the damn place, and you're plumb out of medikits. Now in that scenario, the morphine might just be enough to hold you together until you find some more healing supplies. Now, if that sounds like no bad thing, then you neglect to take into account that using the morphine will intensely enhance the effects of any sanity hits you happen to take. And you know poor old Jack by now, the sight of a dodgy looking floorboard triggers a fucking meltdown, so while the short-term benefits might be attractive, you repeatedly blowing your own brains out over so much as being shot at or climbing up a ladder isn't really a fair trade-off. Plus it's another hazy screen filter just for using it, and good luck not throwing up if you happen to combine that one and the sanity loss blur together. Right, we're gonna start putting this shit shack back in order here. Sure, I'm coming to bust me some Marsh family. Sure I am. I'm also gonna fix your refinery as I go. That's the kind of confusing moral compass I possess. Here's bucket control. I'm gonna have to ride one of these death traps around the building very shortly. It's a refinery! It's a carnival! It's a family home! Marsh Towers! Open for the 2017 season with our brand new water park and hotel, the Ponds of Unfathomable Sadness. Look, oh! Now why can't I do that with the rest of the fucking ladders in this goddamn shit show? If I could just reliably jump off a ladder in this game, it would reduce my headaches incurred from the playing of it by... goodness, couldn't even fathom. Untold numbers. The keen-eyed among you may have noticed a little quirk in the movement speed calculations of Dark Corners by now. Depending on what gun you've currently got equipped, you will walk faster or slower by the weight of it. More noticeable if you have it holstered. Now this does, of course, make absolutely no sense because you're carrying all the bloody weapons anyway. You've not got an interdimensional pack camel heaving your gear around for you like some sort of golf caddy, passing you the appropriate firearm as the situation dictates, but it's most noticeable when you're lurching around with a Tommy gun. Now, at first glance, this might be something of a superficial note to make, but believe you me, later on in this PC port, where Jack moves much slower than in the Xbox original anyway, it will mean the difference between life and death, especially when the chase sequences start to kick in. Yay! I've been queuing for 3 goddamn hours in the baking sun to get on this. Better be worth it, so help me. Don't get any clever ideas about showing off to your pals by jumping out the moving bucket here. That's instant death for you, good sir. Kind of plays you like a bitch on this one because you do have to jump out at a fairly inscrutable moment here. There's probably going to be a couple of trips around at least before you figure that out on account of the game punishing you in any other place for leaving the bucket. Could have put some fairy lights or something in that tunnel, couldn't they? Spooky voiceover, fog machine, animatronic Dagon. Oh, how I long for a Lovecraftian theme park. Oh, the funding I'd allocate to that if I ran this dreary country. It was quite exciting for a time here recently. There was going to be a Paramount theme park built just near London, but fell through. Now I think Disney have got their shiny paws on it. Look, down there, that's where you gotta hop out. Doesn't even bloody stop here. You think this would be like a secret area or whatever, but no. You sit in that bucket, waiting for the game. What the hell? Oh, fuck. Fucking. I told you I was bad at bullet counting, didn't I? Jesus, I've shown myself right up there. What an imbecile. Anyway, Paramount London sounded fucking incredible in like the most awful way imaginable. What rides were they gonna have there? What licenses do Paramount own that you could conceivably make a ride out of? I mean, if you include like franchises they have co-ownership of, like Friday the 13th, Transformers, the scope widens dramatically, but just on their strength alone, what are we gonna have? The Crocodile Dundee coaster? Indecent proposal. The log flume.
It's a valve for releasing pressure.
70-foot dead drop down a dark tunnel while an animatronic Robert Redford tries to fuck your wife. The Brady Bunch? That would really be their It's a Small World, wouldn't it? It would have been the most beautifully deranged theme park in history.
Turning that pressure release valve seems to have rerouted the steam. The dead body of a federal agent.
I was all for it. But for some godforsaken reason, they couldn't get the investors. Can you believe that? Who would turn down a couple of studio executives standing in front of you, hearts in their hand, pitching What Women Want, The Labyrinth? This country. We've looped back around to near the beginning of the refinery now. We've patched the back of the building up. Sure, I don't have to tell you that this action hero raid on the refinery does not feature in the original novella of The Shadow over Innsmouth. In fact, the story pretty much ends after what I guess you'd call the first 3 levels of this game. They're kind of pulling it out of their arse from there, but before that, it's actually a surprisingly faithful adaptation, right down to the bus breaking down and the protagonist being forced to sleep over in a nasty hotel before waking in the night to flee from the murderous locals. And I guess it's no coincidence that when they kind of directly run dry on source material, that's pretty much the moment they give you the guns and abandon the atmosphere. Jesus Christ. Sit down! We're lucky they're stupider than I am, Lovelace. I'll tell you that for nothing. One of the changes Dark Corners makes out of the original novella that I actually really like is the motivation of Obed Marsh, the captain who summons the Deep Ones in the first place. They've given him a much more altruistic origin in this version of events, trying to save his hometown from ruin and eventually getting tangled up in a terrible bargain, having gone insane, whereas in Lovecraft's original vision, he was pretty much just a greedy bastard that sold everyone down the river because he wanted infinite monies. But does it smell like Agent Nelson?
Can't be certain, but that looks like the remains of Agent Nelson.
Ah yes, note the distinguishing entrails there. But just a very conspicuous liver did Agent Nelson. I remember him showing it to me on many an uncomfortable occasion. Here's a Tommy gun I loathe using. We'll take it anyway, just so nobody else can have it. Item hoarding is driven by many a varied impulse, lovelies. Petty spite is mine. Having just seen the gruesome fate that claimed Nelson, we will of course be walking up the conveyor belt of the exact same machinery that killed him. Anything else would be sheer cowardice and basic intelligence. Oh, what a time to take leave of your senses, Jack. Oh, what a time. Again, nothing really changes in these asylum flashbacks. Once you've seen one, you've seen the lot. They could have thrown a couple of mini games in where you're in your straitjacket trying to lick imaginary poisonous beetles off the end of your nose. You know, for variety. Or a Shinobi style bonus stage where you have to piss on as many orderlies as you can before they drag you down off the cafeteria counter.
Stop right there, Marsh.
Goodbye, Mr. Walters.
Right, now, if you don't do as you're told in this section, as it's very easy to do, it gets kind of confusing. Now, I'm running down the ramp right here. On its own, it's not particularly fast, so when I first played Dark Corners, my first instinct was to get clear of the belt by jumping into the little walkway at the end of it next to where Marsh is standing. And like I say, the belt's not moving that quickly, so it's really not like you have to glitch your way over there or try particularly hard to do it. You see exactly what I'm talking about in a second because the game's forcing us back up there now. And you can't move from that spot. There's nothing obstructing you, there's nothing theoretically preventing you from shooting Marsh because he just stands there and you're right next to the fucker, but the game won't let you go anywhere. Here, take a look. This is where you jump to, but there's like an invisible wall that won't let you save yourself or drop down. Like it refuses to acknowledge that you've outwitted it by using the most basic and logical method available. So it throws its damn toys out the pram until you go ahead and fall into the death trap willingly. There's a bunch of fishmen to fight down there if you hang around. You can despawn them all if you run up the ladder and close the hatch quickly there. Right then, next job. And we've got to get the elevator running here so we can cease piddling around with these small fry and get to the real meat of the operation. That's the one.
This should get the elevator running again.
But neglect ye not a small side trip into Sebastian Marsh's office to snoop on his correspondence.
Marsh family office.
Here we are. Shocking that they make pens for fish now, I know.
From Sebastian
It seems like the kind of
Marsh.
mad bastard idea they mock on Dragon's Den before it gets quietly picked up by an interested investor. Hey Marsh, my dear family, I expect to return home shortly. I look forward to seeing you all again. I believe my trip has been a fruitful one. I've met with many potential buyers for our product and, as I predicted, met with few concerns. All are aware that history is written by the victor and that treaties and laws must bow to the fact of conquest. And what indeed is so moral about a bullet or a bomb that sets them above the other means of death? I shall speak with you all further upon my return. I shall have much to say to Robert in particular. It is of the utmost importance that our personal beliefs and agendas remain subordinate to the overall good of the family and the town. As the time draws ever closer, it becomes more imperative that we act as one. If he is unwilling to do so, he must be compelled for all our sakes. In particular, he must remove his beast to another part of the refinery without delay. My love and blessings are upon you all. Ayah Dagon! Ayah Hydra! Ayah! Ayah! Sebastian. Beast? Refinery? Love? What's going on here? I'm scared. I need a nap. We'll run into Robert's beasties soon enough, lovelies. For now, our old pal J. Edgar Hoover's managed to get himself into a spot of mischief, so we'll have to go and yank him out of that by his abrasive accent. I still find it a bit odd that he's in this, to be honest. Not quite as odd as when Al Capone showed up in Shadow Hearts, but still. Could have gone with some nameless made-up Fed, but hey, no, why fuck about? J. Edgar Hoover's your man. Had he still been alive when Dark Corners was being made, he probably would have done the voice acting too. He was game for a bit of that, pretty much finalising all the scripts for the old ABC show, The FBI. My only disappointment is that they cop out of making him a boss fight. Assassin's Creed has had its ups and downs, but at least they let you throw down with a fucking Pope. Pissed some hardline Catholics off in the process, but you know, what doesn't? If fundamentalist Catholics didn't have anything to write angry letters about, they'd be milling about aimlessly in the streets. You'd have to build them a community activity centre. The shotgun hasn't had much love this playthrough yet, has it? Let's give it a run around in the park here. It's been ever so patient. If you're a Doom fan, you'll know how this double-barreled beast operates. It's a bitch to reload, but decorates the walls with whatever you point it at.
Kill him, man.
Come, gentlemen. Heaven awaits. Huh. That was more underwhelming than usual. Yes, wait your fucking turn, will you? There. Christ mercy. Manners, lovelies. Proper queuing procedure is what separates us from the fish. Note the immersive lack of HUD in this game as well. Used in the horror genre a whole bunch since Dark Corners came out. Not the first title to do it. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, which I often am, I believe Jurassic Park Trespasser was the first FPS game to completely do away with an HUD of any kind. It's pretty much mainstay now in everything from Outlast through to every low-budget shiteware festalump we scratch off the Steam storefront, but progressive choice for the time. But then they go ahead and ruin that by having magically vanishing ghost corpses for when you gun a fish man down. Come on. Even Unreal managed to nail that. That game just waited until your back was turned before the dead body fairies shot in and cleaned them up. Odd thing with a revolver, look here. You can unload all your bullets, but there are a lot of ammo drops that won't let you pick them up regardless. Only gun to do it. Call the London Zoological Society. We found a new bug. Who wants to name it? Here's Hoover, finally.
Jack, I'm up here. Do something for Christ's sake.
Shut it, Hoover. As for you, Mr. Walters, we've just about had enough of your meddling in Innsmouth affairs.
It was my pleasure to inconvenience you, Marsh.
After you've watched your copper friend here die, I'm coming after you.
Shoot him! Shoot the screwy bastard! Quickly, Jack!
Oh
Don't sound like
Christ,
a
really? The sanity filter hits me now.
Hurry up,
Jesus
Jack.
fucking Lord. There we go. Lucky for Hoover, Jacob executes all his enemies via complex James Bond death traps. I mean, he's got a gun.
Hurry up, Jack!
You'll find that out if you try to climb the ladder before you kill him, because he'll put one right between your eyes. So there's a life choice I'm sure he's regretting right about now.
You have my full gratitude, Walters. You'd make a first-rate agent. Too bad you got that stinking attitude.
A lousy night of torture can really grate on a man's mood.
If your aim was as sharp as your wit, then Marsh wouldn't have gotten away.
Your orders were to take him alive, not blow his brains out.
That was before the crazy psychopath tried to kill me. Besides, he left his briefcase by the controls. There's probably enough evidence in there to sanction a full-scale raid. So I couldn't care less if you bring him back in small boxes. Just get the bastard.
A hunting we shall go. Jacob's been marked for death. Get the batter ready, boys. I'm bringing us back a large cod. Just a relatively short trip across the smelting pools now until we come face to face with Robert Marsh's beloved cat. There was supposed to be 2 sequels to this come out afterwards, were it not a victim of its own brutal development cycle, which was really no fault of Head First in large, it has to be said. Dark Corners was more or less ready to go around 2001, but The original company Head first had a publishing deal with Fish Tank Interactive. They got taken over by Joe Wood, who just could not give less of a fuck about this game, so they wound up taking it to Bethesda, who kind of fannied around with it for 2 years before finally releasing the poor, broken goddamn thing in something of a disheveled state. Because this was originally meant to be a much more open game, much more independent and investigation orientated. Like, a lot of the central Innsmouth town area is early on, but the budget ate it alive, unfortunately. You can see the remnants of what could have been all around you as you go, as well as the extra weapons that should have been in the final release. You know, the stationary gun at the beginning of the refinery was usable. If you remember the cleaver we found in the hotel back office that Jack refuses to touch, that was originally up for grabs too. There were grenades, dynamite, harpoons, tomahawks, poison spears, and with all those extra weapons, inevitably there was also going to be an online deathmatch mode, as well as 4-player co-op where you could all run around investigating the town independently, but sadly those cuts were made and the sequels were more or less doomed along with them. There was going to be a direct continuation of this story called Destiny's End, and then another one based at the Mountains of Madness, I believe. Fucking Joe Wood. To think they essentially chose Archangel over this. What's Archangel, I hear you cry? Exactly, lovelies. Fucking-exactly. The slithering intensifies. Christ, this thing's got some fucking legs on it, hasn't it? Whee! Your noggin's about to get a flogging here. Buy all your weapons. Right by a save point too. Fuck off.
Wake up, Mr. Walters! You fool! You've got no idea what you're dealing with now. I want you to witness the power of the Order of Dagon. Aya Dagon! Aya! Jack, you're not looking so good. Don't worry, it'll all be over soon.
I'm gonna kill you, you creepy bastard.
Yes, of course you are. But let us wait till after peace.
Well, on the one hand, Jacob Marsh's fetish for condemning his enemies to elaborate deaths has spared you a gangland-style execution. On the other hand, fuck me dead. We've got to fight a Shoggoth. No! No!